On this week's Gov Insider Newscast, we will be highlighting the following stories: the passing of Acting Governor Reinald Groenewald, Emergency Operations Center EOC first meeting, recall on Jif peanut butter, Ministry of Justice prison officers training, Council of Ministers extends condolences to family and friends of historian Alfonso R. Bladen. In some sad news this week, the acting governor, Mr. Reinald Groenewald, has passed. Mr. Groenewald served in this capacity for the past 12 years. Before this function, Mr. Groenewald headed the Insular Department of Education. In 1990, he obtained his degree in Antillian law from the University of the Netherlands Antilles. Mr. Groenewald was a member for many years of various committees that advised government on the process of constitutional change. Originally an educator, Reinald Groenewald went on to become a legal scholar, respected attorney, and champion of our Constitution. Mr. Groenewald was a proud St. Martiner who served his country in various capacities. He was acting lieutenant governor during the constitutional transition in 2010. On October 10, 2010, Mr. Groenewald became the first acting governor and was reappointed in 2016. In a news release issued from the governor's cabinet, His Excellency Governor Dr. Anders Eugene Holliday is quoted as saying, "In that capacity, my staff and I could always count on him to hold the fort during my absence. His profound passion for the office was evident during many of our conversations behind closed doors. He was a proud and generous St. Martiner who was always willing to share his time and knowledge." End of quote. Acting Governor Reinald Groenewald provided assistance to many individuals and to the government as well, always willing to assist. His contribution to the development of St. Martin is notable. He will be revered and memorialized. We will now present an interview with the late acting Governor Reinald Groenewald and Mr. Rolando Tobias, which was conducted in December 2019 as part of DCOM's Road to Election 2020.
System is not meant for only politicians to become ministers. The minister is supposed to be the person to execute, to manage and execute. So a particular amount of knowledge, let's say if you are going to be the Minister of Education, it would be advisable that you have a background in that. If you're going to deal with finance, you should know something about finance. The same goes for justice, the same goes for all ministries. You can say yes, you have advisors in the different ministries, but if let me keep it in the area of law. If you get a legal advice, whether it's in English or Dutch, it's complicated. For the layman, it's complicated. And if you don't have a legal background, you can get the advice, but you don't know what to do with it. And that is the problem. So if you have a politician that ran on a list and has a particular background in finance or as a medical doctor or as a lawyer, and that person, the party say, okay, we would want this person to become the minister, fine. If that is not the case, then the best suitable person should be chosen for that position, because at the end of the day, it's your output, what you can do, that is important.
The first Emergency Operations Center EOC preparedness meeting was held on Wednesday, May 25, 2022, in preparation for hurricane season. Prime Minister, Minister of General Affairs, and Chair of the Emergency Operations Center, Silveria Jacobs, officially opened the EOC meeting and welcomed all 10 ESF groups to the first meeting and said, she anticipates to hear of the plans and preparation all ESF groups have made for the upcoming hurricane season.
For me, it gives me great pleasure for us to come together in anticipation of all of the plans and preparations you've made to be ready for the upcoming hurricane season. I think, as I've said on many occasions, we are quite used to this disaster. And prior to COVID-19, we were busy with tsunami plans and others. So I'm hoping today that I'm not only going to hear about hurricane preparedness, but also in general disaster preparedness from each ESF coordinator.
National Disaster Coordinator Chief Clive Richardson urges the community to be as vigilant as possible, be prepared, as this hurricane season is going to be quite active.
As National Disaster Coordinator and from the Prime Minister's Office and the Office of National Disasters, I would like to inform the public that, as you know and are aware of, the hurricane season is starting as the 1st of June. I would like everybody, the community, to be as vigilant as possible and start preparing so that if anything should happen, you are prepared. NOAA has said that it will be a very active season with 3 to 4, 5 major hurricanes. So please take the time out, as you now have the time, and start preparing for said or such, as you know it can happen at any time, and it only takes one.
Head of the Meteorological Department, Mr. Joseph Isaac, also made mention of the active hurricane season ahead and who the public should follow for credible information during this hurricane season.
We just want to urge all citizens to be prepared, as both the Colorado State University and NOAA have indicated that it's forecast to be a very active season. And as we always say, that it doesn't matter whether it's active or not, it just takes one to affect us and have severe impacts on the country. So we want to advise all persons to know where to get credible information. The Meteorological Department of St. Martin will monitor all systems and keep the public updated on the impacts that would be expected for any system. We hope that we can do all the necessary preparation and hope that we would be spared this year again.
For further updates on the weather this hurricane season, be sure to listen to the Government of St. Martin radio station, St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM, for official information and news before, during, and after a hurricane. For official weather-related information, follow the Meteorological Department of St. Martin, MDS, www.meteosxm.com or sxmgov/hurricane. Also, Facebook, SXMGov. On June 1st, at the Government Administration Building, there will be an information session about estate planning and wills. Preparing for the unexpected is the theme. Ms. Shirla Lewis, social worker at Division Labor Affairs and Social Services, delved further on the info session.
We have collaborated with the Mingo Civil Notary Office to bring to the general public information on the topic again of estate planning and wills. We have garnered great interest in our information session and we have reached our capacity for reserved seating. With such interest given from the general public, we intend to have follow-up sessions so that more persons can receive this vital information again on the topic of estate planning and wills.
Hurricanes bring many hazards to St. Martin's coastlines and inland areas, including storm surge along the coast, inland flooding due to heavy rainfall, tornadoes, strong wind, rip currents, and large waves. Find out today what types of wind and water hazards could happen where you live, and then start preparing how to handle them. Hurricanes are not just a coastal problem. Their impacts can be felt a few kilometers inland, and significant impacts can occur without it being a major hurricane. For more information on how you can protect yourself and your family this hurricane season, be sure to visit the official government website, stmartingov.org, st.martin.gov/hurricane. And for the latest coronavirus COVID-19 guidelines, visit stmartingov.org/coronavirus. This public service announcement is brought to you by the government of St. Martin. The Second Chance Task Force presents a panel discussion themed Let's Act Together, exploring opportunities and second chances. How can we as a society create opportunities and second chances for justice-involved persons? Tune in live May 31st at 9 a.m. to St. Martin Gov Radio 1079 or view it on the government Facebook page. Let's Act Together, exploring opportunities and second chances is brought to you by the Department of Communication and the Second Chance Task Force.
The Food Safety Division of the Inspectorate Health Collective Prevention Services CPS is conducting the necessary controls on the recall of Jif peanut butter due to potential salmonella contamination. This recall is being conducted in cooperation with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Dr. Daphne Illis of Collective Prevention Services CPS further eluded on the recalled product.
The J.M. Smucker Company is recalling selected Jif peanut butter products due to potential salmonella contamination. Salmonella is an organism which can cause serious and sometimes fatal infections in young children, frail or elderly people, and others with weakened immune systems. Healthy persons infected with salmonella often experience fever, diarrhea, which may be bloody, nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. This recall is being conducted in cooperation with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Recalled products includes the product below with lot codes 1274425 up to lot 2140425. So I repeat, with lot codes 1274425 up to lot with code 2140425. Lot codes are included alongside best if used by date on the bottle. Many types and sizes were recalled, including the creamy, crunchy, natural, and reduced fat. If consumers have products matching the above description in their possession, they should dispose of it immediately. Wholesalers and retailers, which are the supermarkets, the mini markets, etc., have been instructed to remove these products with the affected date codes from store shelves and warehouse centers immediately and have them discarded. The Food Safety Division of the Inspectorate is conducting the necessary controls.
Dr. Daphne Illis advises if consumers have products matching the code's description in their possession, they should dispose of it immediately. And if consumed, please see your general practitioner. The outbreak of the monkeypox virus that is usually found in rodents, marsupials, and monkeys has now been detected in humans in a number of countries worldwide. So far, 92 cases have been recorded across 12 countries. Thus far, it has not been detected on St. Martin. Dr. Daphne Illis of CPS shares more on the outbreak of the virus on Gov Insider Newscast.
The symptoms usually develop between 5 to 21 days, and the incubation period is 5 to 21 days, and usually you will see them within 6 to 13 days. Symptoms include a rash, so yes, headache, fever of 38.5 degrees or greater, swollen lymph nodes, muscle and body aches, back pain, generalized weakness. Monkeypox is transmitted from human to human through the droplets of an infected person, as well as the contaminated bedding, so the beds and the sheets. It's also through close contact with the liquid from the pustules, because it's similar to chicken pox and smallpox. So you have the pustules, and the liquid from the pustules is what give you, when you when you are in contact with that, then it's transmitted to you. It's rare, and it has been around for a while, since 1970, I believe, 70, 80, but in endemic areas in Africa. But now they're seeing why it's of concern now is because it's in countries where it's globally, it's seen at the same time in different countries where it is not endemic. So far, there are no registered cases in the Caribbean. We have cases in 12 countries. Of those 12 countries is in the Netherlands, the UK, Canada, the US, Australia, Belgium. Yeah, so 12 cases. And so far, as of the 21st of May, there were 92 confirmed cases worldwide. And with travel, the first case in the UK was someone that had traveled to an endemic place, and that was registered on May 7th. So that was the first case, and they've seen some cases now, some more cases in the UK, and it's also in the Netherlands. When traveling, now that traveling is becoming a little more, we've relaxed our measures. Persons have to be careful in traveling to endemic areas. And with the bed sheets, you wash your bedding in hot water, So, but for now, the Caribbean, so to speak, is safe. But because of the traveling, we have to be on the alert. And CPS has sent out alerts to the GPs to look to see if any unusual rash that they've seen in their patients with fever and swollen lymph nodes. So CPS is on top of things and putting things together to combat the disease if and when it gets to St. Martin.
As part of the improvements and upgrades that are taking place at the House of Detention, the prison officers are taking part in a 6 to 4 week phase intensive theoretical and practical training session to upgrade the overall skills of the officers, including de-escalation tactics, self-defense techniques, motivational treatment of the inmates, and communication improvements, among other areas. In efforts to promote lifelong learning and enhancements in the field, the Dutch custodial agency, DJI, was approached by the Ministry of Justice to provide the certified training for the officers. The pilot group consisted of 8 persons, however, can be expanded to a maximum of 12. The Minister of Justice, Anna Richardson, expressed her excitement for the trainings for the officers, as some of the officers had not received training in 10 years.
What an exciting day it is. We have trainings happening for our prison guards, their enthusiasm, their demonstration. I'm learning from them that these types of trainings haven't taken place in more than 20 years. Some of them have been in the prison system working with inmates for more than 10 years, and they're so enthusiastic and grateful for this opportunity, and I am too. With the management team, we're very, very grateful to our support system in the Netherlands who made it possible for the AE to be on the ground with us and administering these trainings, both theoretical and practical. So we're looking forward to our work system, our guard system in prison being more confident, more available, more togetherness, teamwork. It's excellent. So congratulations to the team that just finished their course, and we look forward to the others coming on.
The self-defense trainings were led by Shakib El Amorai. Mr. Amorai provided a few words on the overall trainings which the officers were receiving.
We started two weeks ago. It was really great to start with the group, but as individual. And now we have making a group with groups to they can work together with some skills. To get de-escalation, how to control the inmates, but starting with communication and don't stop it, and to continue that and to use them as a human.
Helga Vonk led the motivational treatment and integrity trainings for the pilot group. Once the training courses are completed, with passing grades, the officers will receive a certificate and will hold the title of a certified prison officer.
The names for the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season are as follows: Alex, Bonnie, Colin, Danielle, Earl, Fiona, Gaston, Hermine, Ian, Julia, Carl, Lisa, Martin, Nicole, Owen, Paula, Richard, Shari, Tobias, Virginie, and Walter. The 2022 Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th. For all of the 2022 hurricane season related updates, be sure to log on to www.stmartingov.org/hurricane, facebook.com/SSMGov, St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM, and MeteoSXM.com. This message was brought to you by the Office of Disaster Management and the Department of Communication.
St. Martin is a frontline country that will continue to experience the effects of climate change. Effects such as an increase in the frequency and intensity of hurricanes, drought, earthquakes, and tsunamis. With this in mind, as Minister of General Affairs and Chair of the Emergency Operations Center, we as a government have embarked on developing a disaster risk management policy guided by a long-term vision for disaster risk management. This long-term vision will direct disaster risk management and decision-making factors, ensuring mitigation and reduction of risks, preparedness, and emergency response and recovery. As such, you within the community of St. Martin must provide feedback on the draft vision for disaster risk management, as it will also guide the government's actions in safeguarding our communities.
For more information, please visit the website of government at stmartingov.org or our Facebook page. Feedback can be provided to the following email address: secretariateoc@stmartingov.org. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Office of Disaster Management and the Department of the Interior and Kingdom Relations, Government of St. Martin.
It has been around for decades, but began to intensify from the year 2011. What is it, you may ask yourself? It is called sargassum seaweed. As we head into the summer months, the temperatures increase, which causes the sargassum to bloom and cover our shorelines. The Department of Communication spoke with policy advisor, nature and environmentalist for VROMI, Ildiko Gilders, who further elaborated.
Sargassum is actually very beneficial. It's an amazing habitat once it stays in the deep ocean. It supports something like 120 species. It even has its own endemic species, meaning species that are only found in the sargassum. When it's out at sea, it's the only safety, foraging ground and area for spawning for these species. The problem is that once it gets loose of the Sargasso Sea and starts drifting towards the shore, it starts to decompose. So first, when it's in the nearshore environment in these big mats, it blocks the sunlight from arriving at important ecosystems such as your mangroves, your coral reefs, and your seagrass beds. And this blocks photosynthesis. So what you can have is a massive die-off of these ecosystems, which will take decades to recover. And then when it washes ashore, it decomposes, which produces gases. And it also creates a hypoxic environment, which means less oxygen for the species to survive. So, and that hydrogen sulfide, by the decomposition, is also a nuisance to human health. It's important to note that sargassum has been washing up on our shores since before the massive phenomenon of 2011, and this is actually beneficial as well. In small quantities, sargassum, it nourishes the beach and it provides important areas, foraging areas for birds, for example. So it is very beneficial in small quantities. It's only when it comes over in massive mats that it has these damaging impacts to the environment and to human health.
On Friday, May 27, the government of St. Martin received sad news concerning the passing of civil servant and historian Alfonso R. Blyden, who was a valued civil servant from 1987 to present, making a difference in the lives of all who met and interacted with him. Mr. Blyden will always be remembered as hardworking, dedicated, and committed to learning and sharing the history of St. Martin. He began his career in government as an archive officer in 1987 under the leadership of the late Louis Dozanzan, who ignited a passion for archiving and history in him. Mr. Blyden continued to develop his career in government as a very knowledgeable and dedicated civil servant, earning his bachelor's degree in public administration in 2007. As an expert in his field, he transitioned towards senior archive officer and application manager for the Department of Records and Information Management (DIV) in 2013, a position he had a passion for up to his passing. The Council of Ministers and the government of St. Martin extends condolences to the family and friends of historian Alfonso R. Blyden.
Adversity. The best I can explain adversity is when I look at myself with a current battle or challenge I'm facing. I was recently diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer and not given much time to live. But here I am, still walking strong. And when I got the news of my diagnosis, to a certain point, I wanted to give up. But then I thought back, there were so much wonderful St. Martin people rooting and backing me and praying for me that I could not let them down by just going out like that. And because of that, because of the St. Martin people and the strength that they instilled into me with all the love that they poured out for me, it made me stronger and made me want to fight my challenge or my affliction even more than anyone would usually do that. And because of that, I am still here today with you.